God. Hello, everybody, and hello, ZL Master in particular. Has already made a comment and liked the video and haven't even started the stream yet. But once again, I turn on the camera and my allergies start acting up. I think perhaps, oh, what is this? Cat fur. I think perhaps I'm allergic to YouTube. But hello. So tonight, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Steven Seagal. While actually trying something new that I've concocted, or not really. I'm just decided I'd see how vodka goes with Dr. Pepper, since I had a bottle of Dr. Pepper from earlier in the day. It's Tito's handmade vodka with Diet Dr. Pepper, and it's a pretty tasty little cocktail. And I'm not just drinking vodka because of Steven Seagal being the cultural ambassador, attaché. What was his title? I put it in the description earlier when I found it. It made me laugh. Well, anyhow, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. And yeah, if anybody wants to distract me from the topic, feel free. Anyhow, so Steven Seagal. I'm assuming everybody that finds this video either right now or sometime in the future knows who he is. But if you don't, he was is, I guess, a movie star. He played in, or starred in rather, some okay films in the late 80s and early 90s. Let me get my reviews open here so I can be sure I'm giving the right titles. Oh, wow. Did you know that if you click on the little X on a tab, the tab closes? Yeah. I knew that, and yet I clicked on the X anyway because that's the kind of genius that I am. So let me get that tab back open. Anyhow, Under Siege, I think, was his biggest hit, in which he played a special forces guy or a Navy SEAL turned cook on board a ship that the naval vessel that terrorists end up taking over. Fun movie. Under Siege 2. He's on a train and things happen. Also, okay movie. And then we get into the early 90s and things rapidly go downhill. By the time the 90s are over, Steven Seagal is starring in direct-to-DVD movies made in Serbia and other Eastern European nations. And each one is worse than the one that came before. And it's a serious head scratcher as to why these films even get made, since Uwe Boll, around the same time, was making movies that were masterpieces compared to these things that Seagal was starring in and producing, and I think he even wrote a few scripts for them. But as his movies got worse, he got older and he got bigger physically. I mean, Lord knows I should not be making fun of anyone for packing on the pounds as they start getting weaker and older and fatter, because well, that's kind of me, and I never was a supposed expert martial artist the way that Seagal claims that he was. He ran I think a keto dojo in Japan, Fought in some tournaments, but he also is reputed to have vastly inflated his martial arts prowess and his general ability, which he's an actor. Actors live in fantasy worlds to some degree or another. So maybe he just couldn't quite keep his film life and his real life separate. I'm looking at, yeah, Marked for Death was in 1990. I think that was Marked for Death was, I think, the beginning of the end for Steven Seagal films that you didn't watch just to kind of shake your head and um, wish that somebody would tell him, hey, Steven, it's probably time for you to stop playing the macho martial arts bad guys because you can, or sorry, good guys, because you can barely walk down the hallways when we're taking medium shots or long shots of you. But nobody did that, and so he kept making ridiculous movie after ridiculous movie. Machete comes to mind, which was interesting because uh, he actually was pretty good in that one as the bad guy, and he did not a major role, but he did good, and that was in 2010. So there was that one bright little spot in 2010, and then other than that, things just kept getting worse and worse. 7 year, no. Oh, let me look it up. Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill. That was another one of his early ones. Also, a pretty good action film. Uh, Crooked cops kill his family, so they try to kill him too, but they don't succeed. So then he's going after him. And nice action film. Um, Actually, Half Past Dead. That was a decent one. Um, Seriously borderline between. It's actually one of those films that's so bad that it's fun to watch. So, uh, and it had actually surprisingly talented cast, which helped a lot too. The story is absolutely ridiculous, but the actors do a good job. So Seagal went from making decent action films to making direct to DVD crap fests that there's no real other word for him. And then he went to Russia, and he became pals with Russian leaders and oligarchs and shady kind of people, and in particular is pals with Vladimir Putin, the on again, off again uh, public face of Russian leadership and current president or prime minister, whatever he is. But it's that relationship that sort of brought Seagal back. And I'm assuming it's Seagal, although saying his name Seagal is kind of funny. It's spelled Seagal, so Seagal. Uh, but Steven Seagal recently made a few headlines, or was in some headlines, when his good friend Vladimir Putin, or Vladimir Putin's government, signed over 20 acres worth of very valuable land to a company that Seagal has 26% interest in. And that land had, as if I'm reading the articles correctly, had originally been earmarked to build a treatment center for kids with cancer. Oh, hello, Andrew. Welcome, welcome. I'm just talking a bit about Steven Seagal tonight, just because. So thanks for stopping by. Uh, but This Gorky Holding Company, which Steven Seagal has a 26% stake in, got this land given to them, and it appears to have literally been given to them. There was no bidding for it. There was no nothing. It just got signed over. So maybe money changed hands. Maybe not. Steven Seagal is a cop in our country. Having any more Saints Jude that are not part of Russia anymore? I'm not sure what that means. Well, oh, St. Jude Hospital. Is that what you mean, referring to that the thing for kids with cancer? Yeah. Well, again, the article is a bit vague because sometimes, and other reporting on it, sometimes it sounds like it was some sort of retreat for kids with cancer. Other times it sounds like they were, well, it's called St. Jude here because the organization that runs them, but over there, I don't know what they would call it. So, yeah, apparently there is no more organization for kids with cancer or some such because the article is vague. And both the articles I've seen on this, it's unclear whether there was something, whether it was slated to build some facility or whether it was a retreat of some sort. But it got signed over to Gorky Holding, and Steven Seagal will be heading up an international martial arts center that's going to be built on that land, according to the reporting. And let's see if I can find that little paragraph. Where to go? Yeah, I'm always well prepared for these streams, as you can tell. They're always very smooth and highly professionally. Oh yeah, here we go. Gorky Holdings intends to build an international center for martial arts on that site. And yeah, received the land without bidding. And Moscow authorities justified this decision by saying that the company will create jobs as part of the facility's construction. So I suppose I could infer from that that the land was some sort of park or retreat or what have you. But yeah, Seagal is sort of, he has Russian citizenship now. It was granted to him back in 2016 after he'd spent. I already been in Russia for a few years, and then just in the Middle East in general, Middle East, in the in Eastern Europe and in that part of the world for several years. As I said earlier, a lot of his direct-to-DVD movies in the mid 2000s and into the 2010s were productions that were made in various Eastern European countries, funded by Eastern European filmmakers. And Seagal, again, he's friends of Putin. He calls him one of the greatest leaders, if not the greatest leader in the world alive today. That's in the quotes in the London Times. So yeah, this international martial arts center that's being constructed, it kind of plays into his overall role that he has in the Russian government, which I'm going to look up the title because I closed my tabs in a fit of brilliance. So I no longer have it to look at quickly and easily. So let me get it back up there because it's nice and long, as all titles should be. Let's see. Yes, he is the special representative for Russia / US, Russia US cultural links, cultural and historical heritage. His grandparents immigrated to the United States from Russia, apparently, and he's settled down in Russia, gone back to his roots, I guess. But I enjoyed his early films. I'm not ashamed to admit that. And his films in the uh, 20s and the 2010s. Uh, and I saw one episode of that television show that he made, or web series that he made, where he played a cop. And let's see, I came across it again. True Crime, I think it was called. True Justice. True Justice. And I guess it lasted at least 2 seasons. I saw the first episode and just felt kind of bad for the guy. Because, like I said earlier, uh, someone really should tell him that he should not be playing the uh, tough guy that's the role model for everybody anymore. Or he should be the tough guy that's sitting in the office giving orders. Uh, he's more like an Ironside or a Cannon than he is the action hero that he played in the 1990s, and he needs to admit that. He should have admitted that a long time ago. Steven Seagal is a Yash. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. He can build research in that area still, certainly, yeah. If not for Canada, then bonsai treatment for therapy. I did not mean it to say Canada. Okay. So you mentioned that he was a yeah, I know. Yeah, autocorrect is a lot of fun, especially when you're on a phone trying to send a text message. you you said things that you did not mean to say. I mean, when you're me, at least you can do that. Uh, Play a sequel of Chappie. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Actually, speaking of Canada, even though that's not what you meant to say, um, Fire Below, I seem to recall, or Fire Down Below, I seem to recall that enjoying that film, even as I was shaking my head at some of the scenes in it. I actually had to watch that one for work back in the day, um, and do a review. It it was sort of actually it was a precursor to the modern day because oh my God, did that film have heavy-handed environmentalist messages in it? It was like they took out a hammer and beat you over the head with it as you're watching it. But in between the preaching, it actually was a not a terrible action film. So again, did a good job there. But yeah, the thing with this, and as I'm talking, I'm actually trying to find more articles, and I've been looking for the past few days, for the last few weeks, I've been trying to find a little more detail on this land thing, mostly to whether what was there, if anything, before, and maybe if I read Russian, or I could find the right Russian media outlets, I could get a little more detail. But it put him back in my mind, and so it just seemed like just wanted to talk a little bit about Steven Seagal or whatever else might be on people's minds. But it's really the Russia-U.S. cultural links, cultural and historical heritage thing. So you said he's a law enforcement agent in your country. I know that he was a uh, deputized sheriff. Was it Georgia or Arizona? Somewhere where he was doing also a reality TV show, um, being a police officer of some kind. But that was in the U.S. I thought some state here in the U.S. And I'm going to look that up too because I just remembered that. Yeah, Lawman, right? It was called Lawman. Steven Seagal, Lawman. Let's see. Steven Seagal, Lawman lasted 3 seasons. back in 2009. So yeah, that's when he started getting bigger. It was Louisiana. Okay, Louisiana and Maricopa County. So season 1 and 2 was Louisiana, then Maricopa County in season 3. So yeah, he came in to teach the martial arts, and then they got turned into a reality show. Okay, that's interesting. Now that probably would have been a better career path for him than the. Well, I can't. I can't really judge a man's career path, can I? But like I said, I watch when I just sort of gave up on watching his films. Uh, Probably 2012, I think, was the last one I saw. And again, I forget exactly what it was. It was what again? The direct DVD shit show that I just felt bad about the guy, bad for the guy lumbering around. And I know that the martial arts he specializes in is, at least I think, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it's sort of a using the opponent's force against them and sort of gliding and leading them away. And he certainly does this a lot when he's doing his scenes. But uh, yeah, I'm the old fat guy saying that an old fat guy shouldn't be starring in movies. Although maybe I should take a cue from him and dye my hair and my beard so I look a little bit less like Santa. Speaking of Santa, I guess I might as well do this since I have like 3 people in the audience. And nobody will probably ever watch this again. So there we go. It's now Christmas time, and I'm wearing the proper hat. Uh, but yeah, as I said, I've been looking for other things about this center, and just nothing has. Oh, let's see. Let's try this. Seagal. International Center for Martial Arts, Moscow. See, that gives me anything else. Oh, okay, it's the English version of Pravda. Maybe that or Pravda. Yeah, maybe they'll give me a little more. It does give me a little more. So yeah, it's on a major highway. It's near the village of Gorky 10. 1 acre goes for about 17 grand in that area. Construction company is to build an international martial arts center on this plot of land. It's worth about $14 million total. He got it without any bidding. So maybe he paid, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Oh, right, here we go. A little more detail. Here the detail is, according to an extract from the Russian state register of land, that particular plot was registered for perpetual use for the National Medical Research Center for Oncology. So yeah, I guess they're the equivalent of St. Jude in Russia is no more because this perpetual use for the National Medical Research Center for Oncology is not using the land and will not be using the land apparently. The site got put up for auction back in 2018. Again, it was provided that the land could only be used for the purpose of the medical treatment of children. And after 4 months of unsuccessful bidding, so people were building on it. Blokhin Cancer Center tried. They then wanted the land back because nobody was making an offer to build on the land, so they wanted it back. And And then they changed the status of the permitted use. So, all right, I guess it does sound that's legitimate. Yes, yes, that is correct. It's a study of cancer cells. If they cannot build, then they need to make more agricultural sites around the area. Yeah, that is. They went a different path, though. It seems like they struck the perpetual use order, and they gave the plot to Seagal's firm without any competition. They just signed it over, and there's going to build. Yep, going to build a sport complex there on that land. So government release says that they will provide jobs during the construction, and yet there's a quote here that says it will be built, quote, by the effort of only 8 people. Uh, Pretty impressive, actually. And 8 people will build a complex that will spread across 8 acres of land. That's got to be some sort of typo. And by 2026, their plan is to build a 2-story sports center with a complex of auxiliary buildings with a main Aikido wrestling hall, a gym, a conference room, and exhibition space. So that's, and then they just repeat that he got his Russian citizenship in 2016 and was directly handed his Russian passport by Vladimir Putin, and that the actor had been seeking Russian citizenship for a long time. And then in 21, he said he would never renounce his Russian citizenship. Oh, somebody gave me 8 acres of valuable land, I might do the same. Now is it? CXL Master. Now is the time when I sing a song. Yeah, no, nobody wants me to sing a song. Trust me. People will die. People will get cancer, actually, if I start trying to sing a song. Went seen on college. Okay, autocorrect again. Well, so by 2026, I guess we'll have the world's greatest martial arts center outside of Moscow in a very swanky kind of area, from what I'm reading. The Odintsovo district. So I guess we'll all be going to Russia and learning Aikido. Yeah, I think on that note, I'm going to pack this in. Thank you for the people that showed up. Andrew and CXL, I appreciate it. And thanks for the likes. And maybe I'll actually try to watch some of Seagal's movies again and see if they hold up. Well, I did actually. Yeah, I said I was going to end. Now I keep going. I am channeling my my very hated subject of discussion quite a bit. Where is that? Oh, Black Dawn in 2005. Black Dawn, that was the point at which Seagal kind of hit the point of no return. As in, it just got worse and worse from that point. Film with a good cast, but just he should not have been in the role he was in. Urban Justice was a better film, but again, Seagal should not be playing the part he was playing. And I say in the review actually of Urban Justice, I say that because I was hoping, like I said, I was watching this film feeling bad for the guy, and I said maybe, just maybe, he's done embarrassing himself, and we can start enjoying his movies again. But I was wrong. He was far from done. Yeah, okay, I can't find the actual article I'm looking for. So anyhow, yeah, I am going to just wrap it up. Thank 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 the people who came to watch. I appreciate it, and hope you are having a good time out there. And if I come across something else with Steven Seagal, whatever, or something else that just strikes my fancy, I will turn on the camera and I'll do this again. But for now, I'm going to push button number 1, push button number 2, and we are clear.